Good morning. Or bad morning, depending on your outlook on life. I've already done my warm-ups because I woke up at 4:30. I've also been playing some video games. So now I would like to actually do some work, I think. Just gonna grab a reference. Okay. Let's see. Today we're drawing vultures. They have these short little beaks. Good morning, Dindandros. You're in high spirits. How are you doing? What are you, Dindan, drawing this fine day? Bit rainy here. Oh. Well, I hope the weather improves. Yes, birdies. I've been drawing birds for the past while. I'm trying to draw 100 of them. So I did 100 hooved mammals. Then I did 100 insects, which it wasn't just insects, it included a few arachnids. And now I'm on 100 birds. Yeah, I think it's fun. You are live.
Hello.
Good morning. Good morning.
A bit of sleeping.
You a bit sleepy, are you?
Yeah, I needed it.
Can't be blamed for your
Can't blame a man for sleeping in on a Sunday.
day of rest.
A day of rest.
I suppose not.
How you been? How was your day yesterday?
It was okay.
Good.
It's okay. I think yesterday was my day of rest. I always tell myself that it'll get to the weekend and I'll like do something productive, and then I sit around all day. So.
Yeah, I mean, usually after 5 days of doing stuff that's productive during the week.
Yeah, but I guess there's a difference between doing. I'm being productive for work.
Yeah, and to be fair,
I want to be productive for me. So like, I don't know, doing something for the YouTube channel, but I never end up doing anything.
Yeah. Yeah, what I find is like usually resting is productive for me, but only in the sense that it'll allow me to have another productive week for someone else next week. Like it'll rest me up.
Exactly.
To get back to work
Whereas
next
I feel like I should
be resting during the week and taking it easy at work.
Almost like taking it a little bit easier at my job, so that I'm like raring to go and work on my own projects at the weekend. But
I mean, I have this with whenever I go on holiday. It's usually going to Belgium to see Hannah, and we're always doing like city visits, and it's all families around, and it's very very busy. So it's like going back to work after is kind of like the holiday of the holiday. You know, it's like okay, I can just sit here and draw or do whatever the client wants.
Good morning, Ike.
After having like a very busy holiday.
Yeah, I get you.
It's quite nice. I quite like it that way.
Yeah, maybe that's the play. I feel like sometimes you don't get an awful lot back from the stuff you do at work. You know? It would be nice to invest time into something that's gonna give you some kind of a return, but
yeah.
I guess the return is a big fat wage.
Yeah, for the it allows you the money to go and invest time in stuff that.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. That makes sense. I swear there's like a little bit of lag. I have to draw lines so slowly, otherwise they just join together. It's that thing I was showing you the other day.
Yeah.
Yeah, money's a good incentive for sure.
Pretty good compensation for your time.
For sure. Oh, good morning, the Black Royal. Yeah, we're on Bird Arc. We're about halfway through, maybe just over halfway through. Bird Arc.
Bark.
Bark. Thanks, Tom.
No worries, that's my input for the morning.
Yeah, good.
I wanted to tell you about my my surfing experience yesterday.
Of course.
Yeah, it was surprisingly easy. Well, not easy. It's not easy to do well.
No,
That bit was
you've
hard.
already said it was easy now, mate.
Yeah, well, it was just like it's very intuitive. I found. Like if you've ever like ridden a skateboard, then it's like the same thing. But I think it'd be very difficult to do more than just catch a wave, stand up and like ride it for like 10 seconds or 5 seconds or whatever it is. Like if you actually want to like go along it and prolong your surf, then I imagine it'd be very difficult. But it was very it was very wavy. It's like a bit daunting when you're, because the waves were like 6 or 7 feet yesterday, so it's quite scary when you're like, I don't know, like chest deep in water and then a 6-foot wave like crashes on your head and you're trying to just like, and you got this huge board that is like being tugged away by it, but it's alright. And there was like 2 riptides like either side of like the surfing zone, and like while we were surfing there, some girl like was swimming and got caught in it, which wasn't good.
It's not ideal.
Yeah, it was very exhausting. It would be nice to go on like a bit of a calmer day when there isn't a wave every like 3 seconds, so you actually have time to just like sit on the board and chill with your friends. But
sounds like you had fun though.
I had a good time. Yeah, it was very cold. The water was like 8 degrees. It's quite chilly. But it's not too difficult to like catch a wave. I think I'd still enjoy it if it was just like bodyboarding, you know, but you can just like lie on your belly.
Yeah, I did bodyboarding. I've done bodyboarding a couple of times, and I think I enjoyed that.
Yeah, it is quite
was
fun.
a lot more low stakes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it is quite painful because I think the water is like, surprisingly shallow. So like when you're surfing and you fall off, not only do you get eaten up by a massive wave, but that wave then picks you up and then slams you down into the sand. And the amount of time that I just had my face plowed into the seabed and with like an ear full of sand or something was quite almost every time actually. So, but yeah, it was. I'll do it again. I want to do it again. Maybe it's a bit warmer, so I don't have to wear those boots and gloves.
Oh, I think yeah, maybe. I was about to say, I think you'd probably still have to. You're just up in Newcastle. I don't know if it's ever going to get warm enough that the ocean there is going to be an acceptable temperature.
Yeah, I was like watching like a tutorial YouTube video before I went, and the guy who's like Australian, and he was like oh, the water's like 23 degrees today, 25 degrees. I was like, oh my god. That must be lovely. Yeah, even in the summer the UK oceans are very cold. But to be fair, a wetsuit, it keeps your body temperature like about 10 degrees, or it keeps like the temperature that you feel about 10 degrees warmer than outside. So although it was only 8 degrees, it felt like 18, which is like, it's fine.
I should just
the
wear
wetsuits
one
are very
of those
good
around the house, man.
Honestly, yeah. Well,
Keep you warm.
yeah. It was good fun. I'll do that again. Maybe.
I thought you had already been surfing at Newcastle Beach. No.
I had once before, but like the waves weren't very good that time. They're very, very poor actually. So like you couldn't really get enough momentum to do much other than bodyboard or stand up. I mean you could try, but so we spent a lot of time just paddling around. But this time was a lot different.
Vultures, 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 vultures. I find myself struggling to draw wings often. I think what I need to bear in mind is like the bones that go underneath them. Effectively something like that. And then if you
Like hands underneath, aren't they? Little hands.
yeah, something like that. And then I guess it's almost like a scapula. Do they have shoulder blades? Birds?
I think so.
Some things don't
Maybe
have
not.
shoulder blades.
Maybe if it did, that would limit its movement too much. So
But I think the point of a scapula is that it frees up a lot of movement because it's a moving joint. What other language do I both speak or want to learn? Do you speak any other languages? You're learning Dutch, aren't you?
I've learned Dutch for a while, and I can speak enough Dutch to ask for things at the dinner table, or like order things at restaurants and stuff. When I'm over there, maybe speak to like Hannah's nieces a little bit.
Is it fair to say that you're learning Dutch out of necessity?
Yeah. There's like I wouldn't say it's fully a necessity. I guess it kind of is because I want to be able to speak to more of Hannah's family.
I don't mean necessity as in you wouldn't be able to survive without it, but just that it's something that you sort of. Yeah, I think I'd like to learn more languages, but I don't have a reason to. As an English person, I'm very lucky that everyone else in the world just speaks English, and so. Like, if I'm going to sit down and spend my time on something, it's just probably going to be painting and drawing, not a language that I'm not going to get that much use out of, unfortunately.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with like instruments. I used to play a lot of different instruments, and it was something I really enjoyed, but I think at a certain point you just have to. I don't know, it feels like there's only enough time, especially if you have a full-time job, to get home and put your energy into one thing. I don't think I could also, I could probably, I played a little bit of guitar yesterday evening, but I'm never going to be playing guitar regularly enough to make any kind of improvement with it. Not if I also want to be regularly drawing and regularly painting and whatever else. It's just not enough time in the day.
And you just kind of have to pick. We didn't have to, but what I've done is just pick the hobbies that are meaningful to me, and you can always like dabble in whatever you want, like go surfing or climbing, which I like to do. play a bit
Yeah,
of guitar every
yeah,
now and
yeah.
again. But I usually think it's always good to have like that one main
Some kind of core.
Yeah,
skill.
that really is like true to you. Like, what do you really like to do?
Yeah. Yeah, I do other stuff, but it's just I'm not gonna. Especially something like learning a language takes an incredible amount of time.
Yeah, and what I find is like sitting down to learn it from like books or like Duolingo is I get such little like return from that. It's like the only way that I make a lot of progress is whenever I go to Belgium and like ask, oh, what does this mean? What does that mean? How would you say this? How would I ask for that? And then almost like as soon as that question's been answered, you learn that thing. So like you just like remember it because you then will use it.
Yeah, it's getting use out of it as well. I did try and learn I was learning Japanese for a while because I was a little weeaboo like every 15-year-old child, and I made a decent amount of progress. Do you remember I learned the whole alphabet and a bunch of other stuff, but
I did as well.
I never made any use out of it. I never spoke to a Japanese person or did anything, and I was never going to, because going to Japan is like the most expensive place you can possibly. Just the plane over there is like £10,000 or something stupid.
Another moment the yen is like super weak, but they're about to introduce like more taxation or more like tourism.
Oh, are they?
Like cost rises for when you're there, yeah. Because like the yen is so weak, everyone in the West is like going over there, and they're like, wait a minute, like you're all like, kind of like coming over and buying everything when everything is like worth nothing. What the hell?
Yeah, and so I just forgot it all. You could show me the Japanese alphabet that I spent months and months and months like learning how to read, and I would not be able to tell you what any of the symbols mean, not one. And I think that is, I guess it's just how the brain works. Is it goes, oh, you're not using this information. Oh right, I'll get rid of it then. It's not useful to me. It's taking up space. Yeah, I learned a lot of the Spanish. I remember a lot of Spanish. I did GCSE Spanish, but it's meant to take 2 years, but I did it in 1 year because that was an option at our school. It's like a fast track.
Easy on it,
Yeah. Just do it in half the time. I got a good grade. Latin, I really like Latin, but again, that is you can't even speak Latin. Right?
Yeah.
There's no one to talk to in Latin.
It's so dead for the school. Got rid of it.
Yeah, the way you learn it is just by translating, like texts, like literally Roman texts. You just translate them over and over again.
Caecilius es pater.
Caecilius es pater. Yeah.
Caecilius in horto.
Grumio.
Caecilius had a sad ending.
Culina. Caecilius did have a sad end. But yeah, I did really well in Latin, and I wanted to carry it on, and yeah, the school got rid of it because I was the only student that wanted to do it at A level, and they weren't going to pay a teacher to teach me, one student, Latin. So I think I couldn't, but I do remember a decent amount of Latin. Decent amount of Spanish, but
there's a lot of there's a huge like South American like community at the climbing gym I go to, and they all like speak Spanish. I think it's pretty cool. And then we had like a few people at work who are native like either Spanish or South American, and were like looking for people to hang out with, and they've made like this really big group of like South Americans.
Yeah, maybe
really cool.
Maybe I think it would be really cool to talk to that like Dutch is one thing. We have a lot of shared Dutch friends.
Yeah.
And I do have a few South American people. Mario's one of them. I think it would be so cool to talk to any of the internet friends I know in their native language. I think that would be an interesting experience. But God, that is Well, yeah, no one knows how they spoke Latin. We have a sort of bastardized form of Latin that's spoken, religious Latin that's been carried on by Christianity, but there's no way of knowing how the Romans pronounced most of these things. No way at all.
Yeah.
So. You look at modern day Italian, and I don't think modern day Italian is anything like. Well, obviously it is similar, but it's not as close as you would think it would be to proper Latin.
I think you can like group languages pretty easily by their derivatives, and that's how like a lot of people who learn a lot of languages do it. Like if you say like you're Dutch, like native or whatever, you speak Dutch, then you probably are brought up learning English because everyone is in Europe. Then learning German is like a not that difficult next step because they've all got the exact same derivatives and they're all using loan words from each other's languages, and they've all got the same sentence structure. So essentially, you're just like swapping out word for word. And I find that when I learn a lot of Dutch, other than like the past tense, which is a bit different, it's just swapping out word for word, and half the time it's just the English word.
Yeah, my mum is one of these people that knows a gazillion languages.
Yeah.
And I think that is exactly right. It's like as soon as you learn a couple,
can stack them.
You stack them. So she knows, like, I think she's fluent in like French, German, Italian, all the European languages basically. I don't know if she knows much Spanish. And yeah, she picked up Italian not that long ago on Duolingo, and then just went to Italy and was walking around speaking fluent Italian to people. And it's like, oh, okay, right,
Yeah,
fine. I would love to be one of those like
so would I.
Polydidact. Can speak a billion languages. That seems like the coolest thing in the world. It's a really, really fun skill.
I think people really appreciate it as well, especially for an English person to go and do that, because everybody assumes that English people won't or can't speak like another.
Yeah, well, that was my.
If you're English and you go to another country, they're always like mind blown.
It kind of frustrated me a little bit when we went to Germany. Not Belgium. Belgium, they seem to allow you to speak Dutch. I don't know how you found that.
Yeah.
They let you have a go. But in Germany, everywhere I went, when we went to Berlin, I was attempting to speak German. And I thought, I don't know how it was. It must have been reasonably understandable because they responded to me. But they would always just respond in English and then sort of cut the German off. It was like, you're talking German? No. I can tell that you're English, so we're just going to converse in English. Maybe they're just trying to be nice.
Yeah, they're trying to be helpful, me,
But yeah, I wanted to try and converse in German a bit.
There's this really cute coffee shop in Mechelen that you've been to as well, the one by like the park. Do you remember we sat to purchase the heron?
Oh, it's like the little kiosk.
A little kiosk in the wall, yeah. And whenever I go there, I order in Dutch, and they're always really patient, and they let me say it. But I mean, usually like the translation for most like coffee based things is still the English word. So you'll like ask for like a cappuccino and just say like cappuccino, but you still like lets me give it a shot. And they're always really nice, and she always has like a smile.
I've heard it's even worse in places like Japan. I've heard in Japan, even if you were born and raised in Japan, but you're a white person, people will just refuse to talk to you in Japanese. They just assume, you're an English person, therefore.
I have a friend at work called Josh who lived in Japan for like 5 years or something, and he's fluent in Japanese, and he's white, he's British, and whenever he goes to like a restaurant there, they give him like the English menu like instantly, and the prices on it are higher than the Japanese menu. So he always asks them in Japanese, "No, can I see the Japanese menu, please?" And they're always like, "Oh my god, I'm so sorry. Yeah, sure." And they just assume he's like a tourist and give him the more expensive menu.
Yeah, it's wacky. It's really wacky.
Yeah.
This background is giving me conniptions.
Conniptions.
Well, because I think the border. I did it with one of the praying mantis pages. I assumed that I was filling the page, but actually there was like a load of blank space over here.
Oh yeah. Oh, you've done that.
Because the background is the same color as the canvas.
Yeah.
Well,
It
it's
just
like,
looked nice on stream though.
it looks lovely on stream, but it's like 1 pixel difference. And so sometimes it can trick you if you're not wearing your glasses.
I think there's like a lot of skills that I'd like to have, but I don't know if I necessarily want to spend the time learning. Like I quite like doing art or drawing, because even though I'm not the most skilled at it, it's great trying to be. But like skateboarding, for example, as much as I'd love to be able to like go to a skate park and like shred and stuff or whatever, I don't really. I'm not that interested in actually trying to do that, because of like the injury involved and like the just like smashing your face into concrete over and over again.
I just think there's an upfront cost, time-wise, that I'm not willing to pay.
Yeah.
Right.
I've
been working all week.
I want to play into drawing.
It's a Saturday. I now have like a slither of free time available to me. Am I going to spend it learning something else completely from scratch? No, I probably want to get a little bit better at the thing that I want to get better at here.
Yeah.
Which is a shame. It is a shame. Do you think if you could like implant a chip into your brain that gives you a skill, you would? Or do you think it would be like when you're a kid and you cheated and went in creative mode in Minecraft, but then after about 5 minutes realised that there's not much fun to be had building a house out of diamond blocks?
Can I take it out? Because I feel like I would.
Yeah, I think you can take it out. But like, do you think you'd sit there and implant the, I don't know, piano playing chip into your brain and then sit there and
yeah, I'd like to.
Do you think you'd enjoy playing the piano, or do you think it would be like an out of body experience and you'd be like, this isn't me playing the piano because I haven't actually attained these skills at all?
The reason I asked if you could like remove it is because I'd probably have to do it for drawing for work, because everybody else would, and if you didn't, you'd lose your job. So I would do, but then as soon as I got home, I'd take it out and just learn how to draw myself, because that's what I enjoy. I don't enjoy necessarily being good at it, but I enjoy getting better at it. So I think like if I was just instantly amazing at art, I'd be a bit bummed out by it. Not bummed out, but I just run out of things to draw. I think I quite like the studying part of drawing, you know, where you have to sit there and you draw your cubes and you rotate your planes and you do your mannequins and stuff. And
yeah.
I enjoy sitting down and doing that, and figuring things out like it's a maths problem.
To me,
That's the joy.
I think I would much if I was offered the ability to either A, instantly get good at a thing, or B, I could pause time for everyone else, but only as long as I was practicing this like a skill.
Oh, I'd like that.
That would be amazing.
That'd be the perfect. So I could pause time, just spend all my time enjoying drawing. I've had the enjoyment out of it, but I've instantly got better as well.
Yeah. And you've it's almost like you've earned the skill, haven't you? Which is nice.
Yeah. Was that the superpower that you'd have, is to pause time?
Yeah, I always say that, and everyone always just calls me a nerd for it. If I could have a superpower, it would be pause time. And I fantasize about this a lot. I have dreams about this, where I wake up in the morning and I like these thousands of drawings I've done this year. It would be like, okay, pause time, and I still get to sit down and do thousands of drawings, but for everyone else only an hour has passed or whatever, so the improvement would still be very rapid for everyone else, but I would get to experience it.
Experience the joy of learning. Yeah, I mean, do you think we could pause time together and like be in the same instance of
time,
pause time,
so you weren't so lonely,
so you could still like call on Discord while time is paused?
Well, I think maybe you could make it make sense if you were in person, like in the same space.
Yeah.
But like that would imply that you're also unpausing like Discord servers and the internet or whatever else.
True. Maybe.
But I guess it means you would also not be able to draw.
paused.
You also would not be able to draw digitally. You'd have to draw traditionally because computers wouldn't work if time was paused.
True. That's okay.
That's fine. Yeah, we can draw traditionally. But like, does ink run? I guess pencils your option.
Yeah, it's a risky superpower to choose because you could do it and then the ink doesn't even work.
And you're just fucking you're trapped.
The one reason I chose a superpower. This is why I'd like.
I don't.
I'd like transformation as a superpower because I feel like people think, oh, so you could transform into like a plane and then fly wherever you want. It's like no, if I'm like
I'm gonna
got like
transform
a
into
sore wrist,
ballpoint pen. Wait.
the ballpoint pen. No, if I've got like a sore wrist, I could transform my injury away and I could carry on drawing, or I could transform myself to be younger so I can live longer to draw more. And have like this. Oh, I've got this illness. I'll just transform.
I would take that deal, in a heartbeat as well. Not the transforming thing, but if someone said you can reverse time and go back to like you're now a 16-year-old again, but you retain all of your skills.
Oh yeah.
And it's like prestiging, and you just build on the skills that you already have. Like, can you imagine being in an A-level art class and being able to draw and paint at this level? Part of me thinks you'd sit around and not work very hard and slack, but
no, Miss Mills would be taking you to like art shows and stuff, and you'd be like the example of like a.
Yeah, but I don't feel that I worked particularly hard in my first couple of years of university. It was only really my third year where I started actually putting a load of effort in. I think I've been one of those sort of kids that's been spoiled a bit by the fact that they were more talented when they were in primary school or whatever.
Yeah.
This wing isn't working out for me. Yeah. I'm very competitive as well, and there wasn't.
As am I.
There wasn't much competition. There were a couple of people in my year, who I won't name, who were very good competition for me. But that also didn't sort of ramp up until third year, and so it was very comfortable, just sort of sitting around, doodling a bit, but not doing much.
Like friendly competition too. It's like a really nice form of competition where like people do something that you want to do, you want to learn, and you're like, oh my god, I need to learn that. Yeah, I think competition really fueled me at university. It was like I don't know how to say this. It was more like what I found at A-level art, right, was probably for both of us who were like the probably the best in our class at art at A-level.
I think that's an uncontroversial.
Yeah, but for me, the competition was trying to stay at as the best, and that was like the bit that kept me going. So that's why I think I worked so hard at art. Is like just in case. And there was like 1 or 2 weeks where like with some of our homeworks, like somebody in my class would get like a higher grade than me, and it would just drive me insane. And I really tried to work to minimize that as much as I could.
Yes, yeah.
I just couldn't have it. I was like, no, I'm the art guy in this A-level class. I'm not having it that these guys who just want to go into like business and finance get better grades than me. I will not have it, and it used to drive me up the wall.
I think that's perfectly reasonable.
But I'm competitive in most things. Like Hannah doesn't like playing board games with me because I'm I'm really competitive in them.
I'm competitive in long term scenarios. I'm not particularly interested in. Like I actually don't really enjoy board games very much. Because it feels like the length of time that the board game occupies is not enough time to get good at the board game.
Yeah, you have to play it like 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, effectively, and so you don't
Yeah, I
you don't
get
get
that,
the
yeah.
opportunity to get better at it and then win. It's
Yeah.
just like, especially most of the time when people introduce me to board games, it's board games that they're already really good at, and so I know that like the first 10 times I play the game, I'm just gonna lose horribly and miserably.
Yeah.
And we never end up playing it more than 10 times anyway, so I never really get good. But yeah, long-term skills and stuff. Yeah, drawing and painting especially, I'm very, very competitive. I look at Kim Jong-il, and as much as I'm inspired, I'm also like, that bastard, I'm going to catch up to him.
Yeah. I think the same. It's like, God, I see these guys do it, and I'm like, oh, if they can do it. And so I look at like their older work as well, and maybe not Kim Jong-il because he was just like drawing amazing at the age of like 6, but so I look at like other artists like old work, and I'm like, you know what, like, I mean, it's still better than me, but like I'm like their old work is in the realm of I could probably do this if I sat down.
Unforeseeable, exactly. I had that with and it's kind of an inspiring thing to realize. I had it with Cynic's design. I always like hailed him as like an art god when I was younger, and he has sketchbook tours on YouTube, and if you watch them, you're sitting there watching them. I don't mean any insult to Cynic's design, by the way, but you're looking at it and you're like, oh right, these are his like childhood drawings, and then he goes, oh, I did these when I was like 21 or 22 because he started quite late, but they do look like children's drawings. And so you sort of realize, it had started later, and you know it almost removes the idea that there's like a rush to.
Yeah.
You know, you don't have to be like a pro at the age of 13 or something.
Yeah.
It's
perfect. Let's forget that we are both still very young. In terms of like.
I've never played D&D or Pathfinder. Like.
I think it's hard to be competitive in.
They're kind of cooperative games, aren't they?
They are cooperative, yeah.
And I like I do like, I think I prefer, like, whenever I play video games, I prefer cooperative video games to competitive video games. I used to play a fair bit of like FPS games and stuff, and you just realize that I think at a certain point, especially as an adult with a job, you realize that you can't compete, and therefore the element of competition isn't fair, and it isn't something that you want to entertain. So like I was playing lots and lots of COD, and this was only like last year.
Oh yeah, we played
and then we played a lot, and but it gets to a point where every single match on COD, you're being completely destroyed every 5 seconds by a 13-year-old that doesn't have a job, that can sit there and spend like every single evening on this thing, and you're getting home from work like exhausted, and you just go, oh, I'll just hop on the game for a bit, and you just get destroyed again and again and again and again, and it's not fun, and you can't compete. And so you just stop. So I mostly play like nice single player games now. Minecraft. I've been playing a bit of Minecraft recently again.
Yeah.
I like Minecraft. It's a creative avenue. So you don't feel quite as guilty for playing it because you're still making something. Right, these vultures they're vulturing for sure. Is my music turned off?
Yeah, I didn't. Actually, I got your stream muted, so.
I never looped Fred's music anyway, so it was playing music that it shouldn't have been. Oh, no. Yeah, I played a decent chunk of Baldur's Gate 3, and we played a whole segment. I think we had like a 4 or 5 hour session of this segment in Baldur's Gate 3, and the game glitched, and we couldn't retrieve an item, and our last save was like 4 hours ago. And so we just noped out. We had like a 30 or 40 hour playthrough. Me, Jamie, and my brother, and just the fact that we had to reset by about 3 or 4 hours was like, no, I'm not playing this game. I've had enough. No, I'm not doing that again. No, it's grueling, especially when it's like lots of combat encounters that just take forever. No, not gonna happen. I'd like to go back though. I never finished it, and it was a very fun game. I can't remember. It was like a section that was underground somewhere, and you had to beat 3 different, almost like riddle bosses. One of them was like a duplication of your character, and I swear they were meant to drop something like a gem or something for a lift, but one of them just didn't. And we couldn't find it anywhere. And we looked on Reddit, and it was apparently a common glitch or something. We were debating like modding the game somehow to just try and spawn it back in, but we didn't, and so yeah, haven't played it since. Unfortunately.
So it goes.
Maybe I'm sort of waiting until I completely forget the game, and then I'll go back and replay it.
Yeah.
Maybe as a different class. Yeah, well, I completely uninstalled it from Steam. I'm not. Maybe it would have saved my Steam cache. You know, my save will still be there, but I don't know. I'm going to the Potteries Museum today.
You are? How come?
It's like a meetup thing.
Oh, for the university?
No. There's a guy. It's in my Discord server. In the you post your socials bit, and he runs like get-togethers across the country. And I was grumbling because they're all in like London or Bristol or somewhere miles away.
Yeah.
And so he was like, "Oh well, where are you?" And organised an entire meetup in Stoke. So yeah, I'm doing that today, but we'll see. I imagine maybe some students will turn up. It's been posted in the Discord server, and they're all in Stoke. So, but I don't know if they'll bother themselves.
Yeah.
Do I know why vultures have bald heads? I imagine it's because they're shoving their heads into dead animals, and so it's not very helpful to have feathers on them.
Is that why some people have bald heads as well?
Yeah, that's why my dad has a bald head,
Yeah. And you see?
Sorry?
Sorry? What?
I swear I heard something.
No, you did not hear
Sort of
anything.
annoying, peevish noise. Did you like my self-portrait yesterday?
I did.
Did I send it to you?
You did. I commented a realism challenge.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, that's good. That was very good.
That was a really good self-portrait, little sketch.
Well, I did a really I didn't post the one. I did a really horrible one of my sister and her partner, and I thought to soften the blow, I'll do a really horrible one of myself.
That will serve you.
Yeah, so that it's only fair.
Yeah. Sometimes I just try and draw them how I see them, and that's the one that they take the most offense to.
I think honestly, the more realistic it's meant to be, the more you run the risk of offending them. Yeah, if you go all balls to the
like
wall,
if it's just
and
a
do
mean
really
one,
horrible
it's like
caricature.
silly mean. Yeah, they're like, oh, you've just tried to be a bit silly and mean. That's okay.
Well, I was trying to explain this to Meg, because Megan was sat there going, "Your sister doesn't look like that. That's mean. She doesn't have." And it was like, yeah, but if I try and do it realistically,
It's gonna get upset.
it'll be worse. I think it will be much worse.
Yeah, because if they say anything they don't like and you try to capture them accurately, then that's like more of an insult.
Yeah, it's much better that I make her look like a weird, grotesque goblin creature.
Yeah, we've learned our lesson on this.
We have, yeah. After many caricatures.
Yeah. Remember I had remember when we were in Berlin and we were sat on the grass outside the outside that museum, the museum of pottery, or wherever we went to. Museum of Ming vases.
Nice museum. Yeah, lots of Ming vases.
And we, I mean, Hannah was like, "Oh, do you want to draw a caricature of each other?" And I was like, "Oh, sure." I think I asked. I was like, "Oh." So I was like, "Oh, she wants to draw a caricature." She agreed to that. Okay. So I just tried to draw her as like a horrible witch, and then she just did like this cutest little drawing of me.
Well, Megan had that yesterday.
And honestly, I had a crush on her. It felt awful that I'd just draw her as this horrible, disgusting
you
little goblin.
But Megan tried to draw a caricature yesterday of my sister-in-law, and it was just nice. It was just a nice drawing.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't think you're getting the point of this. This is meant to be like a horrendous, awful.
Yeah. It's not like when the boys do it and it give you a massive forehead and give Ernst a receding hairline and a big nose, and you guys give me a massive underbite and horrendous hair.
Of course. Yeah.
Big spot on my face. Yeah. You gotta take the things that people are most concerned about and then amp them up. Make them really concerned about it.
Yeah. That's one way of thinking about it.
No, if you can't laugh about it, what can you do about it?
True. Plastic surgery.
You could Lux Max maybe.
Lux Max. I've heard this mentioned. Lux Maxing. Is that when you? Is there like an app or something? I swear there's
maybe.
I've seen where like it measures like different parts of your face and tells you which bits are subpar, which seems like
I think the idea of it is
idea.
is like micro improving anything that you can. So it's like, all these micro improvements will add up.
It's min-maxing, isn't it? I guess that's the whole
I think that's the point of it. So like, okay, you don't like moisturize. Maybe just do like one bit of moisturizer, like a day or something, and when you get up in the morning, and just make sure you shave your beard or something. And that would be like, that's like a point towards, I don't know, you maximizing your look. You look maxing. If you like accumulate all these different things, then you've accumulated like 50 points. I think that's the point of it. But also, it just sounds like a trap for like more modern day body dysmorphia, to be honest. Getting like young teenagers to be worried the fact that the angle of their jawline is like suboptimal or something.
Yeah.
It's like, well, why don't you go into the PG cities instead, guys?
There's more important things to be worried about. I suppose there's in principle there's no harm in trying to make yourself look nicer. I mean, people have always been doing that.
Yeah, for sure.
But maybe don't obsess over the thing.
Yeah, not so like anyone's dead. Don't do it to your detriment. Just do it if you want to enjoy doing it, or if you do enjoy.
I should trim my beard. It's getting out of control.
You should Lux Max.
just a little bit. I could take a little bit more care of it. There's definitely something to be said for taking care of yourself.
Yeah, I think that's true. Like when I do feel like when I've shaved properly and
feel
I put
better.
a nicer outfit on, and like when I've got out of the shower, I've like blow dried my hair nicely. I do feel like I look and feel a lot better than just.
Yeah,
when I roll out of bed.
I rarely do any of that.
Yeah, neither do I. But I do like it when I do.
No, I'm a little bit of a gremlin. My confession is I don't even. I find it difficult to justify like having. If I'm not in work, I tend to just sit and stew and not shower as much as I probably should. Because it's like I'm not seeing anyone. I'm just sitting inside.
Yeah.
It is just self-care. Yeah. Yeah. Chubby beard a bit. Haircuts. I hate haircuts. They're the worst thing on the planet. I hate them. If I could never get a haircut ever again, which is completely within my power.
Yeah, that might be on your horizon, mate.
Oh no. Oh no. Yeah, I just hate them. I hate putting my hair in the hands of another person who is. I don't think I've ever had a nice haircut. And you have to deal with that, the consequences of that, for months. And I hate it. I would rather just completely shave my head, which I think I will next time I need a haircut. I'll just get it all gone and
buzz it.
Deal with that instead. At least that's my decision.
Yeah, I quite like a haircut. The place I go to is nice. But have you seen? I should send you the videos that they've been uploading recently. It's just like
the AI.
Slop. The AI horrendous slop. Yeah, that they post like 4 times a day. It's a bit disappointing, but they always do a good job.
I used to get my hair cut by a really nice lady called Pam.
Oh.
And I find that women's hairdressers are much better than barbers, who they just seem to get a an electric trimmer and go, oh, tell me a number and I will just buzz off your hair at that number.
Yeah, what do you want? Short back and sides. Well then, 2. Okay.
And that's it.
And then you just like shut up for 10 minutes while they maul the top of your head and then.
Yeah, but Pam retired, and so I haven't found a suitable hairdresser since. And that was, God, that must have been like 7 years ago or something. It was before I went to uni. No, it wasn't before I went. It was in the middle of uni because I remember going all the way back to the Merseyside just to get a haircut from Pam. But yeah, she left.
Moved on to better things, like retirement.
She wasn't that old. She must have had a little nest egg.
The place I go to, I do like chatting to them. I think the guy there, whenever I walk in, he's like, "Oh, the Scouser's back. What you want?"
Oh, right. They recognise you.
Yeah. We always talk about football and stuff. So.
Football. Where do these birds store their legs away when they're mid-flight?
They took them.
Took them where? But actually, cranes don't took them. They just sort of trail behind.
We just kind of hang them around.
Yeah.
That's quite funny. Yeah.
But do vultures took their? This is where we have to get up a reference.
Yeah, reference required for this.
Vulture flying. Where's this thing's feet? Oh, some of these have them hanging. They're just hanging.
Just hanging out.
Yeah, a lot of them they're just hanging. But I don't know if that's just because they're like about to land. Surely they don't just hang when they're like gliding for hours. Oh, they do kind of they fold back a little bit. Oh, that's a cool photo. Look at that.
Oh, that is cool.
Okay, so their little leggies kind of. They kind of hanging back. Me and Megan have been watching the Naked Gun series of films.
The Naked Gun.
Have you ever watched The Naked Gun?
No.
Have you ever watched Airplane?
The one where the thumbnail is a twisted airplane.
Is that? I just googled airplane and it's just pictures of airplanes.
Photos of airplane.
Yeah, Airplane. Yes, it is a plane twisted in a knot. I always get it confused with the cover of Snakes on a Plane.
Yeah. But no, I've not seen Airplane. I've just seen the thumbnail. Sorry.
Oh, right, amazing. Well, if you haven't seen Airplane, it's definitely worth watching Airplane. But the main guy from that, Leslie Nielsen, is just... You might have seen him in some kind of a film. I just think he's the funniest comedian in the world. And he's in The Naked Gun, which is kind of America's answer to Johnny English. It's like a useless... But he's not useless. Johnny English is very slapstick in that it's like, here's a completely useless man being an idiot and being useless, but somehow it works out in his favour.
Yeah.
Whereas The Naked Gun is just, here's a detective doing his job. And he's quite good at it. Like, I think the first scene in the first film is him going into a boardroom meeting with, like, Saddam Hussein, Nikita Khrushchev, like Chairman Mao, and a load of other people, and, like, beating them all up all at once. But it's just full of really shit, awful dad jokes and puns and stuff.
Oh, good.
Like one of the ones from the film we watched yesterday is the woman's describing a suspect, and she goes, he's a man with a mustache, 6 feet tall. And Leslie Nielsen goes, "Oh, that's a really tall mustache." You know, it's the exact kind of awful nonsense jokes that we tell each other.
I think I've seen clips of this. Okay, yeah.
You'd recognize a load of there are loads of like famous reaction gifs from it.
Yeah.
Like that's from The Naked Gun. There you go.
Oh, I see.
How did we get onto this conversation? I can't remember. But OJ Simpson's in it, which is
Fun.
yeah, maybe not fun, but interesting for sure. Do you think these wings come forward? No. What medium should I use for today's drawing?
One with a crystal ball.
There you go. That is a Leslie Nielsen-esque.
Ridiculous. There's a medium, there's an oracle in Newcastle.
Oh, is there? Have you consulted them at all?
No, but I think that maybe she is some kind of otherworldly power, because I've been walking around Newcastle before, and I've been like at the waterfront, and she has this little caravan, and I've seen her in the caravan, just like she like sticks her head out the door, and she just like shouts at people like, "Oh, do you want to know your fortune and stuff?" And obviously no one goes into our little nasty caravan. But then I've walked past that and up into the city centre, and I've seen it again. like same woman, same caravan,
Different location.
different location, and I think she's can be in multiple places at once, so maybe she's magical.
Do you know the thing about
Unless
a
it's like-
caravan is that it can move?
Yeah, I know, but it's like I think the logistics of moving a caravan.
Right. No, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
I
I had
think-
this with a monk in Oxton Village. Yeah, genuinely, we were me and my two brothers, and we tell this story. I think I spoke to my brother about it the other day when I went home to see the puppy. We were walking our two dogs as kids, not really young kids. I think we were like I was maybe 10, which means my oldest brother was like 15. And we're walking up the road, and there's a monastery quite close to St. Anselm's.
There is, yeah.
And as we were walking up, there was a monk stood at the front gate in like 18th century, no, way earlier, like 8th century Gregorian monk robes, which is fine. Like monks, modern day monks still wear monk clothes, right?
Yeah.
But as we got like a meter away from him, he just turned around and walked back in. And then as we passed the gate, we looked inside, and there's like a path that would take you about 5 minutes to walk all the way down to get to the monastery. And he was just nowhere to be seen. And we had just seen him walk in like two or 3 seconds earlier, and then he just vanished. But then as we walked further up the road, we turned around and he was back there at the front gate again, watching.
Oh.
And it's like, that's a bit creepy that there's like a weird, spooky monk. So we always avoided that road. We thought it was a haunted monastery.
Haunted monastery. Maybe it is.
It could have been. Hello, Jam. Jam said hello to you as well.
Oh, hello.
Don't say hello to Tom.
Good boy. Why not?
Doesn't deserve it.
I deserve a hello just as much as anyone does.
Just as much as anyone does. Do you say hello to every stranger as you're on the street?
No.
Right, then that's how many.
It doesn't mean they're not
hellos
deserving
you're
of one.
getting.
They still deserve.
Well, I'm going to meet a bunch of strangers today, so
Say hello to them, Mommy. They deserve it.
I'm very interested to see how it. I'm famously pretty awkward and awful with new people, and so
Well, I think they'll be excited to see you because it's been arranged in your server, right?
no, it was arranged in their server, but I told him he was free to spread the news in my server, but. The only strangers, there won't be any strangers from my server going to Stoke-on-Trent. If anyone does go, they'll just be students, but that's fine as well. It's always nice to see my students.
Especially if they're doing some drawing.
God, that'd make a change, eh?
Woohoo! Got him.
Got awful. What's it called? Do you know when you like feel your? It's almost like your stomach acid is like bubbling up into your esophagus.
Acid reflux.
Is that what it's called?
Maybe. Don't know. It sounds like that's what I would call it, but I don't know what acid
It's like
reflux really
static,
is.
and you can like hear it like bubbling.
Oh.
It's not.
Maybe that's
nice.
it's one for the doctors.
Well, Megan
Too late,
gave,
we go to
Megan
the
gave me a
hospital.
tablet for it yesterday. I think it's called like a Renly or something.
Or a Rennie.
Is that a Rennie? Maybe.
Yeah.
And it was the worst thing. It was like eating.
Yeah.
You're not meant to have it with water. You're just meant to eat it. And it was
Yeah,
like
that awful lot.
it was like chalk. It was
Yeah,
horrible. It was just the worst. And I would rather have the acid reflux. But I'm not eating my chalk.
You don't want to eat. You're just telling me that you don't want to eat a lump of chalk.
It's hard to believe, I know.
I had this theory when I was climbing yesterday that the reason, because I was thinking climbing, the optics of it is really stupid. That people pay money to go and climb up plastic colourful rocks, and then climb right back down again. Like if you were like an animal that was like a bit more sentient, you'd be looking at humans and be like, what the hell are they doing? That's so stupid. And then I was thinking maybe it was a sport invented by some kind of chalk company, because you have to chalk your hands up and use quite a lot of it.
Do you think another animal would be going, that's stupid?
I think so. I think if I was a dog and I was like, look, these guys were...
But like dogs just chase balls, and it's not like you give them a treat every time they bring you the ball either, they just do it for the sake of it. I don't think a dog is a good example. Maybe... But even like chimps chase each other around and just climb trees for fun.
Yeah, but they kind of like actual trees.
Yeah, but there's no goal. And if a chimp saw a climbing wall, they would just go, oh, that's a big rock.
Yeah. I just thought it was a bit silly. I just thought it was a bit weird for us to do. Chimps don't pay, and dogs don't pay money to go and do it either. Yes, they do with their time.
No, I agree. That's a bit.
Yeah.
You're right there. That's a little bit weird because you could just go to the park and find a tree.
And climb that, yeah.
Yeah, or go and find a rock and climb that.
Is it good at it for like a reason? You know, like okay, maybe you need to like harvest coconuts or something, so you get good at climbing coconut trees. But you're just getting good at it.
Yeah, but I don't like coconut, so.
I do.
I like it on what are those biscuits?
Coconut biscuits.
Are they nice biscuits? Is it Nice biscuits? Are they from Nice in France? But people just call them nice biscuits.
The name would suggest everyone just calls them nice here because we're all disgusting.
I'm gonna Google how to pronounce
nice. Right.
Well, nice biscuits. Is it meant to be Nice biscuits? Yeah, they are. It is Nice biscuits from Nice. Yeah.
But they are yummy.
Apparently they're a British thing. They don't exist in Nice.
Oh.
Not in the same format. So, Queen Victoria went to Nice, ate a biscuit, and then came back to England and was like, here we are, let's start making these biscuits that taste a bit like the ones I had when I was in Nice.
Queen Victoria also tried to ban hot cross buns on any day that wasn't around the Easter holiday.
What a silly...
And the country rioted.
as they should. As they honestly should.
Because they were like, she said it like removed like the kind of like religious like impact that eating this.
I mean, she's not wrong. I don't think people...
She's not wrong. I did show logic, but like they are so nice. Like I'd be, I like them so much. I'd be pretty annoyed if I was told.
They're so dangerous because they're a delicious breakfasty snack, but they're just packed with
just all sugar.
Basically, I had a fruit loaf the other day.
Oh,
and I just ate the whole loaf in one sitting, the whole fruit loaf, and I looked afterwards, and it's like a gazillion million calories or something.
Yeah, that's like your month's calories.
yeah. But it was very tasty, and so you know what can you do? Can we fit another vulture in?
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. I kind of want it like a... want a vulture that's like stripping meat from a
Stripping
carcass.
down.
Yeah, maybe we draw like it's like a rib cage. Did you just say stripping down?
Yeah. Took you a while to get onto that one.
Horrid. Vultures are like the Santa Claus of birds, you know. They've got that.
Think so.
No, they've got that like fuzzy white hood, you know.
Oh yeah, I remember last time Santa dug his head into a carcass.
Well, he's not doing it every day, you know.
Maybe that's why he spends so much time in exile.
In exile. So the
North Pole.
origin story of Santa Claus is that actually he's in exile. I don't think vulture heads can do what I've made this one do.
Oh yeah.
I want this vulture to be like proper digging his claws in. There you go. I don't know what this creature is, but it's dead. It's only got one set of ribs, apparently.
The best of us.
there you go. The busy page down there.
Busy one today.
Yeah, we've pumped out a fair few today, and we're within the time limit. I feel like I'm speeding back up, which is nice.
That's nice.
Not a requirement, but it is nice. Let's finish with a warm down. Thanks, Jam. What do you think is most similar to this this digital tool traditionally? Because it's kind of meant to emulate a biro, but none of my biros produce this thicker mark. Do you know what I mean? A lot of my biros are a lot lighter and scratchier than this. Maybe it's just a pencil. Maybe it's like a 2B pencil.
Yeah, quite possibly.
Always a bit scared of using a pencil because I don't want to smudge, but maybe I should just use a pencil and not be a wuss.
Yeah.
It's just a biro tool. Like, I think it's based on the one that you sent me, Tom.
Yeah, you changed it a bit. I've changed the one that I sent you a bit over time as well. Just evolved it when it wasn't me meeting new expectations that I had for it.
Yeah, I'll do that. I'll challenge myself to. I have a Palomino Blackwing.
Damn.
Which one of my colleagues bought for me. But I haven't really used much of it because they're very cheeky. They like to sell their own sharpeners, and so it doesn't really fit a standard pencil sharpener. So it just makes it annoying too. That's the other thing with pencils, is like sharpening them regularly. I sharpen them with knives at home, but I don't really want to bring a scalpel to the Hanley Museum.
Right. Yeah.
I don't want to add to the number of knives in Stoke-on-Trent. I don't know. Yeah. Wait, no, I got a sharpener for Christmas.
A Blackwing sharpener.
No, it's. Do you remember? It's
table one.
Yes, the table one. It's not that big. I could take that with me.
You could.
Yeah, I'll do that. The weekend has just disappeared. Right under my nose.
The schnoz.
I do think I want to start a concept project.
Yeah.
I'm feeling in the mood for it. Right, let's colour in these birdies. We're going for like pinks and reds. Part of me is always very tempted to colour some of these in, you know. Well, I don't think it was. It's one of my. You never did technical drawing with me, Ike. You were the year after. Or it started the year after you did your first year. But it's one of the exercises I do in digital painting. It's the first exercise I get students to do. Is they've just done technical drawing, and so they know how to draw in theory. And so I give them like line work, and I just take them through step by step, like colouring it in, adding shadow, adding hue variation, and ending up with quite a nice painting, just in a really procedural way. I think as long as you have a nice drawing, it's not very difficult to effectively colour it in. Decide where your shadows are going to be. So we could make this a bit lighter. And then on top we could go a little bit darker and say, look, this is where our shadows are. So all of the feet are going to be in shadow. Most of that's going to be in shadow. And I think, yeah, pretty quick you can end up with something that feels quite 3D. Contrary to what other people think, I think shadows are the quickest way to build up form. Like that. And I could go around and do that with the whole page and have a whole page of... Maybe I should do that eventually. Do you know what I mean? I don't know if I care about doing it right now. I'll just leave them as... I like leaving them as drawings. I think that's the point of the exercise, is drawing, not really just colouring it. That was yesterday's. Yesterday we did people from Imagination. And I had a lot of fun, actually. I had an awful lot of fun. I think I want to vary up like age and weight a bit more. I did have one sort of larger fellow up at the top. But for the most part they're kind of, I don't know, average age men. I thought, I don't know if you can see my screen, Tom. I thought I started drawing these little boxy people. I think it was inspired by something I saw in Tom Fox at some point. But I like the idea that you can just draw a cuboid and then sort of split the legs in two.
Yeah.
It's a bit like a little claymation man. And so I want to explore that a little bit more as well. I think that would be an interesting way to teach figure drawing, is like just take this boxy shape. Because I know you got like robo beans, but I guess this is taking it to its logical conclusion of the whole body. It's just a big box. Yeah, interesting. Well, yeah, we've done that. Now we've got vultures, and now I get to count up how many we're on and plan accordingly. I still don't know what the next set of birds should be. There are so many birds of prey. Eagles, hawks, falcons. I guess hawks and falcons are quite close. And then there are lots of flightless birds, but I don't know if I'm interested in drawing flightless birds. I think well, I am, but the whole reason I wanted to learn how to draw birds and do 100 bird drawings is kind of like the wings. Seems like the hardest bit. And a flightless bird, like an emu, is just a bird but without the difficult part. it's just the bird shape, but without the wings, right? And so we did herons. There's herons. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe I will. I do want to concentrate on. The wings is still the bit that I'm struggling with the most. And so I'll keep doing winged creatures. Maybe more birds like in flight from imagination from different angles. Yeah, we'll see. Okay, have a nice day, everybody.
You too, soldier.
Alright, bye bye.
Bye bye.